a lot of young Christians or a lot of young people talk about how growing up in a Christian home was kind of cagey and did not allow them explore or express the world then. But there's so much in this day and age. There's a lot of underlining advantages of growing up in a spiritual home. So you
Yeah,
get,
I feel you.
and there's so many of them. So for you, how was the experience like? Looking in hindsight, how was the experience like growing up in a Christian home?
So like how beneficial?
Yeah, how
was-
beneficial was it? Because how did it shape your mentality or your mindset that you have today towards a lot of things like your career, music, and your choices and your desires?
Great question. I think for me, one of the places I felt the impact of growing up in a good spiritual and Christian background is in marriage. Of all the places that I've seen the impact, and I can tell you that 70% of I know that my marriage is going to do well, 70%.
Yeah.
Just as a result of the background that I've grown up in. And not just mine, coincidentally or fortunately, even my wife's background, and I mean the upbringing, the foundation, is quite similar. Parents with very solid faith background.
Yeah.
So just by them doing a great job, being people that genuinely love God, because this conversation that we're having, like one of the issues a lot of people face with pastors' kids, because I'm a pastor's kid.
Yeah.
And there's the issue with pastors' kids. Not in the end, truly, that's still a conversation. I'm still like, how did you grow up in such a faith-filled environment, and all of a sudden you just want to go the other way? Because trust me, I've lived with some people that are pastors' kids, and I'm like, what happened? Where is this? And I'm seeing myself, and I'm like, but where I am on that thing is that I feel like, and I can't really say, there are many dynamics that can affect one.
Right.
But I've seen that if your parents and you grew up in a place that they truly love God, they were truly satisfied in God.
Yes.
You would see that you grew up into that kind of lifestyle also, that that God is enough for you. God is.
Yes.
God, it matters. So yeah, that's for me. I've seen it mostly in my marriage. I've seen how that affected in my marriage the most.
So I think I relate to that a lot. And there's this other side of it. There's this subconscious side of it that applies. So you're growing up, and then you're being taught principles. You do nots. You do like this. You do this, and then sometimes you don't even understand why they are saying this. But you just know it's the rule. You should not do this. You should not engage in this. So at the point in which you finally understand why you're not supposed to do this, or you're supposed to do this, everything connects.
Yes.
You've already built up the reflexes of knowing what not to do.
Yes.
Then you now mix it with understanding why you should not do those things. And I think that's the difference, and that's the advantage that we don't really talk about. When I was in university, in year 2, I was roommates with a number of people that I'm not supposed to be roommates with. But what they kept bringing my that if you dare try it, run to your money to jail. Remember the child of whom you are. That was what they. But I didn't really understand the effect of it. But the message kept ringing, and because of it, I didn't do it. I didn't choose not to do it because of the belief I had, but it was because of the upbringing I had. So at the point when I realized that, okay, this is why it's not good to do it, everything just connected.
So the why came once. The reasons matched up with the instruction later.
You understand exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, and shifting to something like music, specifically speaking, up until when I was 9 years old, the only musicians I knew of was Don Moen and Rock Enoli of Integrity Music. And it's not just, and he helped in 2 particular ways: understanding the essence of music and why we listen to those kinds of music. How these people speak about how praise and worship used to be or needs to be more than a monologue, or it should be a conversation with God, where God is also telling us in turn that He loves us. He wants to, be with us and all. And that thing helped. At the same time, in my line of work, it made me understand, when analyzing music, how important it is for a song to tell a story or pass a message across. There has to be something significant to pick out of the song. And it might seem remote or or far removed, but it's a very important factor as to how this our opinions and our mentality is formed
Very
into
true.
things.
Very true. No, that's actually very true. And you, let me leave it to you. Like you said it for now. Let me
So
leave.
you going into, you're a worship leader now, and
Yes.
you going into that, how much of that background shaped what you are now today?
That's another good question. I think for the most part, let me see for the best way I can answer this question. So you're asking how much of my upbringing shaped, in kindly rephrase the question one more time. Let me see how it's best to answer it, please.
So how much of an influence has your upbringing been in you being a worship leader and the systems in which you run and your attuning to the kind of music in which you minister with?
Okay. I think I get the question now. But like you mentioned, that you grew up listening to rock and only grew up listening to Dumb.
Yeah.
Similar kind of. I think for me, the most important thing is that was the heart. Was the heart of.
Yeah.
I didn't just grow up listening to hey, shake the bong bong or any kind of thing.
Yeah.
I grew up understanding that music is also a communication.
Yes.
We're communicating with
Yes.
God, and so I think that heart was installed in me from young, so but when I now began to see, like, that upbringing that you talked about plays a huge role, because when you now go to school, you go to primary school, you go to secondary school, you go to college, and you begin to meet people of different
Backgrounds.
I think different background. I think for me, like, one of the things that is that like you said, roti omo enito je.
Yes.
So by the time you are meeting all those people, like, you just find out how do I explain it? You just find out that the instructions, the heart that has been passed already, you just find it playing out in even your music type, your music choice, even your friends. There's a way it just flows rightly.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's what I'll say regarding that. Yeah.
Great. So at what point did you realize that you loved music to the point of you ministering in songs and stuff and things like that? At what point did you, and I don't know if it's a calling, I don't know if you get the calling to be a worship leader, but at what point did you get that calling to go into that?
So I feel everyone is a worship leader.
Right.
Literally, everyone is meant to lead worship. And when I mean meant to lead worship, I don't want us to see, the issue is how people view what worship is.
Yes.
So the question is, what is worship? So, but because the angels cry, holy, holy, holy. Everyone too is exalting. So, but to answer the question, which is when did I get this? Oh, I think it was in like my senior secondary school. Thank God I grew up in a family that they encouraged us to. Once they saw that some giftings, they just encouraged us into it. So they noticed that I like music, so they got me a music lesson teacher. He taught me how to play the piano. But in my senior secondary school, I got the chance to meet a person that I used to watch Camp Rock. I don't know if you know Camp Rock.
Yes, I did.
And
Nick Jonas,
Disney, exactly,
Jonas.
Demi Lovato, all those guys.
Yes.
And Disney played a huge role in my music growing up, and I met this guy, and I just heard him play one song from Camp Rock. I can remember. That's how much of an impact it was, because I felt like it was a turning point in my life. And he was just playing this I gotta find you.
This is me. This is real.
And I was like, oh my goodness. And that was the first time I was seeing someone use the guitar in a way that I went over there. I said, Mom, please, you have to get me a guitar.
Yes.
And I got a guitar. Thank God I already knew how to play a keyboard.
Yeah.
So I just transferred the knowledge from my piano
to the
guitar. And so it was easy to learn.
Yeah.
And I started playing. I started singing. Then people were like, but why you didn't sing? You didn't. So that was when I knew that, okay, it seems like I have something. Then I entered university.
Yeah.
Then I joined the choir. So,
okay.
And the choir was, if you know anything about Covenant University choir,
yes,
bro,
yes,
you have to be
I've
good.
Heard.
So,
I've heard.
And for me to have made it even there, that means I had something. And so in that environment, it shaped my love for music, for good music, my understanding of good music, and how to also sing better. You get, so that from there, that was kind of my background in the whole entering the whole music and worship leading space.
Right. It's funny you speak about covenant. A lot of our pastors who pass through Covenant University, you see that they have this love for music.
Yeah.
Before they preach, they're always singing and all. You see Tomiwa Emmanuel.
Yes.
You see Pastor Emmanuel Iron.
Yes.
You see Olushola. Pastor
Olushola,
Olushola. He comes and he starts singing, and not just in the modern music, and he goes down to the roots and then singing Orebi Jesu Kosilaye, and you're like, okay, these are people who actually love music because of that upbringing still follows.
Yes.
It's not just your childhood upbringing; it's also the tertiary one.
Yep.
So those are nuances and sample sizes you can use to measure how a person develops in that field of thing.
Yep.
Now, let's go into the mainstream.
Yeah.
A lot of gospel artists, right, are faced with offers to collaborate with secular music. Now, how would you view it? You feel that an opportunity or a compromise, given the lines between gospel music and secular music?
Is this a current thing that maybe like secular artists are actually asking Christian artists to?
Okay, so I'll give an example. In 2013, a popular music artist, you know him, he's a popular rapper, one of the best in Nigeria, E.M.L.
Yeah.
On one of his tracks in his album, The Chairman, he featured one artist called Orisha Femi and Frank Edwards. The song was titled The Chairman. And if you listen to the lyrics, it was talking about how God is the chairman, you blessed me, and all. However, it was a secular music album. It was a song in a secular music album. Do you understand? So that fine line between the gospel music and secular music, at what point does it serve as an opportunity and or a compromise for gospel artists?
That's an interesting conversation, because as you said this, it reminded me of a time that Tasha Cobbs had a track with Nicki Minaj.
Yes.
Till date, the conversation has not stopped. Why will you bring on Nicki Minaj? And I think, first off, we need to realize that even as the Bible says, I think it's in 1 Corinthians 6 or 10, it says, all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. So the truth is, as believers, even when God showed Peter in a dream, he said, don't call anything that I have made clean unclean. And we need to realize that secular artists they are children of God. Like they might not be Christians, but they are made in God's image, because every human is made in God's image. And we need to realize that there is nothing, first of all, unclean. You get, so there is nothing that says that we cannot do a track with a person that is not a believer. But now the question is, to what end? What is the intent? Why am I doing this? And another thing one also has to realize is the person that I am doing this track with, is this collaboration going to be a backlash in the long run to the faith you hold in high esteem? Because I think it's in Matthew 7-ish, I know it's in the early book chapters of Matthew, when Jesus said, don't cast your pearl before swines. I'm not calling anybody a swine,
right?
But what he was trying to say is, you don't give things that are holy to people that don't see things as, because imagine looking at Tasha Cobbs, the one with Nicki Minaj. After the track, a lot of people might say, a lot of people, Nicki Minaj, are going to find out about Christ through the song. True, but what exactly are we going to live with? Because now,
God bless you, the vice versa.
So imagine Nicki Minaj is and no hurt or anything. I'm just giving an example. The next week,
what values?
Because what values? The next week you're seeing twerking here, and what are we passing about Jesus? What are we passing about what we believe? Is it just an add-on that when I do everything bad, when I receive that word, I just want to thank God.
Thank God. Yeah. Right.
What are we passing?
What are we? Yes.
You get, so before I make
even your boys, thank God for me.
Yeah, so, and that's the thing. A lot of see, when the Bible says, I did not know them, it's
That
a real
is it,
thing.
yes,
So, but
yes.
sticking to what we're talking about, what's the reason?
Mm.
Are you telling me, like, I know, like, there is a lot in this thing, but it goes back to, see, what's your intent? Are you saying you can't reach, like, using the, just a little segue, using the, like, a lot of the USA American visa schemes, if the US wants to hire a person from maybe EB1, HB1, or all those schemes, before they hire somebody from another country, like maybe Nigeria, they will say you need a license first, but they will say, is there nobody around here that can offer that particular skill
before we go
outside? So
same thing applies.
Like,
this thing you want to achieve
with this
can't
song,
there's somebody else? Can somebody else give you that within the same niche?
It's in the same niche, or is even a believer that. So when people find out this person, they are not seeing the complete opposite.
Yes.
Before now say, oh, I want to go and just partner with a random secular artist. So what is your intent? Are you actually going for the fame? Because some people actually could partner for, see that as an opportunity for fame. So
exposure,
that intent is what matters, that I always ask about.
Yeah. So, and I also think that the grouping plays a huge part. Here's how. You can be a Christian and be in the secular music space. Love songs are secular songs. Inspirational music is secular music. Do you understand? So definitely you can have Christians who sing these songs, right, in the secular space, but are adherent to their faith. Here's where the fine line is now drawn. But when you now consecrate yourself in the niche of gospel music, it's my belief that you should not be featuring a secular artist or going into secular music. Every music you drop has to be music that edifies the Christian body, because you have put yourself in that niche. You've defined it on your own part. Do you understand? So because you cannot give what belongs to God to Caesars. You've defined your music as belonging to God. You can't give it to Caesar, and at the same time, vice versa. You can't give what belongs to Caesar and offer it to God. And I think that distinction is what makes it different there. No, so if you are a musician who you have the talent of writing, you can write love songs. You're good in writing love songs. You're good in writing inspirational music, that all this aspire to Maguire music and stuff that people like. Here again, you can make sure you don't define yourself as I'm a gospel artist, because if you're a gospel artist and you're singing secular music, it defeats the purpose of what you've defined yourself as.
I like what. So you're saying maybe one should not look at labeling yourself that I'm a gospel artist.
Yes.
Because the moment you do that, you might not be able to enter some.
Except of course, that's where you want to stay.
Exactly. Yeah. No, and it's happening. We have a lot of artists coming out. When they say, "Are you a gospel artist?" They'll say, "Oh no, I'm an artist. I'm a Christian. Yeah, born again Christian that makes music.
Thank you.
Exactly, so that they don't box themselves. And we see this in movies too. So it's not even just in the music, but
because you see actors who are in Mosiah films normally, and you now see them in normal films. Like, I thought this guy was a Mosiah actor. No, I'm an actor who just appears in Mosiah films. I appear in other movies
too.
And
in the end, we need to see it as an art. Yes. Because this guy that used to do sacrifice, what's his name? This actor that does sacrifice.
Kanayo.
Because it doesn't mean he actually does that. You just that guy. That guy is a deep believer and Christian. You just be shocked. But so in the end, one needs to always remember that it's also art. But the question is, what is inspiring the art that is being portrayed? What's the heart behind it? Because see, music is spiritual.
Yes.
See, music is one of the only tools that can enter, that has the permission to enter your spirit without your permission.
Yes.
Like it doesn't wait
and
for you.
It's a lyrical it's a song lyric, so you're correct.
So one has to be very careful the music one listens to.
Yeah, accurate. So in all essentiality, what we're saying is that it is possible for Christians to create music, right, that is not specifically gospel and still honor God with their lives.
Yeah.
So let me jump ship. I was going to ask some question, but I want to align with this particular what's it called? This thing we are talking about. Now let's shift to Christians who are in the entertainment and media space. Like now, myself and you, we spoke about this guy the other day.
Who's that?
We spoke about Eric Gugwa the other day. Yes.
Eric.
So here's the thing. We're talking about this popular content creator, Eric Gugwa, and how he's doing the Lord's work. And there's a key message to pick up from this thing that Eric Gugwa is doing, right? And he's saying that it's just specifying the fact that it is not only okay for Christians, to be in the entertainment space. It is also very advisable, because be the change you want the world to see.
Yes, sir.
And being that change would mean you getting involved in it, and people see your exemplary acts. Are you standing for what you believe in while still engaging in the same line of business as these other people too? Do you understand? And that is the message that he is trying to pass. Because it's the same Bible that says the just shall live by faith.
Yes, sir.
It's the same Bible that also says faith without works is what? Dead.
Yeah.
So if you're having the faith there too, you have to put it to the action in different places where it should be seen. Let your light so shine before men, so that they might see your good works and do what? Glorify the Father in heaven. And that just rubber stamps what it's what Eric Gugwa is doing. So the summary of the whole thing is that I want to have your assessment of the conduct, how Christians conduct themselves when they are in that space. Because there's the flee from appearance of evil thing. At the same time, there's you being in this space to effect change.
Yes.
So what's your view on how Christians in the content space, entertainment space, mixing space are supposed to, balance their lifestyles?
Great one. I think as believers, one important thing, especially when you are growing in Christ, that you have to learn is contact without contamination.
Yeah.
So you have, but if you are coming out, if you are just literally coming out from the world, imagine you are not a believer, you're coming out, you don't want
go back in
contact.
Yes.
You get, because you will likely be contaminated.
Yes.
But after a while, you can go and influence the space that you are actually coming out from. Yes. So it is super important for believers to engage in culture. And I know those words are used now, but it's true, because if you look at the stories in the Bible that we read and we love, read the story of Joseph, read the story of Daniel. I don't want to use cliche words like, these are believers in the marketplace.
Yes.
But that's what it is. These are believers that are dealing with. Daniel literally was working in somewhere that you can literally call Aso Rock.
He was a politician.
In Aso Rock, But like how he operated, and like you said, let your light so shine before men. I think the most important thing for like the conversation is what frames your ideologies, what frames your principles, what frames your life, where is it stemming from? And how I mean by this is, how do I explain it? How do I know that? See, how do I know that rape is not bad? I'm entering some. How do I know that rape is not bad? How do I know that a man that's pedophilia is not bad? The guy he just has feelings for little children. Where do you draw the lines in certain things? Because when you think about where we draw the lines in certain things, and that's the issue with why our society is the way we are. Everybody who is the judge of where these lines should be drawn. And how I mean by that is, even as like, how do I explain this thing? This thing is, I think I opened a door that.
No, it's see, please, I want you to continue, because I know it's a sensitive conversation, but it's a necessary conversation.
Yeah.
That's why we're all about what we're talking about here, which is, faith in creativity.
Yes.
Faith in entertainment. It's always going to be difficult topics where there's so many opinions coming in. And it could be a thin line that you don't want to tilt so much.
Yes.
So you have to balance in the, you have to find a balance in it. So these are things that have to be thrashed out. So we can't avoid difficult conversations.
See, we are, as believers, we are the light of the world.
Yes.
We're not the light of the church.
World.
It's the world.
Okay,
If we
that's
are not-
that is
is-
that's a hammer word.
Yeah, literally,
That's a
because
hammer word.
a lot of believers see the way we have turned this gospel ministry to is now is business now, and you know the every new and upcoming. See, I can't even lie to you as a person that leads worship, and not just being in the gospel as I'm just a Christian,
Yeah.
and that sings well. Trust me, there was a faulty mindset I had, which is the ideal. What is ideal? Which is maybe I recall the song and the song goes viral and I begin to do church tour because that's what it is.
Yes.
I begin to do church tour. Koza will call me, Celebration Church will call me, Elevation Church will call me, and I begin and I blow, and that's what blowing is, and that's what a lot of us are doing. And guess what? You are shining a light. People, well, not everybody in the church is already a believer, but that low-key, that's not completely where God is sending you to. God is sending you to be the light of the world, not the light of the church. The church needs edifying, no doubt. But we need to realize that the work that we are doing is for the people outside.
Yes.
So that's why when this whole Giz Baba and Pastor Lawrence Oyo, the stuff blew up, and it was influencing culture, people were not used to it.
Yes.
People were like, why is somebody in the club dancing
It was very disruptive.
It was disruptive.
No, I can never turn back.
That's what we are called to do.
Yes.
That's what we are called to do.
And let me highlight another of my favorite gospel musicians. I think I didn't even know what he looked like until I searched him.
I'm curious now.
An Endless Ocean.
Oh, you.
That particular song he sang, Gratitude.
Oh, yeah.
Gratitude did so much. And you could see with the way in which the promotions or the movement, it wasn't like it was channeled towards, okay, I want to be seen around all churches. I want to hold the mic. I'm just making music and everything. And till now, people play his music is other song. The guy who sang, call me for fire. Call me carry.
Yeah.
Guess what? We were in NYC together. It was my guy in NYC. We come together for 3 weeks. And I didn't know it was him until 2 years after.
Ife, that's guy.
Ife. For 2 years, until 2 years after, I didn't know. That was when somebody played the song. And then I zoomed the album artwork. I was like, wait. This is Ife. I knew it was a musician when we were in camp. But I didn't know it was gospel music. Number two, I didn't know he had blown mainstream. That's somebody who just wants to sing gospel music, right? And it's not, of course, the fame comes as a collateral advantage. But that wasn't what he was doing for. It just came as a side effect and aftermath. And I think, like you've said, the essence, the purpose of what we are doing this day matters.
Yes.
Because Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God. That applies to music too.
Yep.
So which means that when you have done that, those things, the fame, the connections, the wealth, the licensing, the royalties.
And even if it doesn't come, this Jesus that I know is enough for me.
So if you are in that space as a gospel artist, seeking to minister, seeking to make changes, that will be your main focus.
Yeah.
And when God sees your heart, those things come through for you.
Yeah. Sometimes if you don't even die to those things, you'll never get it.
True.
See, I know you've heard many people say that. See, I want to do something very controversial. See, I know you've heard many people say that, all you need as a believer is a brain. All you need, like Elon Musk, Elon Musk does not pray. He doesn't, guess what? He has money. See, let me let you know that, there's some believers that will never have money until they're in the right will of God. It's true. See, God literally used to block people. It's in the Bible. See, if you read the story of Hosea, and Hosea was the prophet that God asked to marry a prostitute.
Yes.
See, God told the prostitute after a while, because she left him.
Yes.
In the prophecy, he said, I will block her ways. She will try and do this one. She will try and do this one. I will block her ways, because it was a type to how the children of Israel were acting out. You get. So that was. He said, I will block her ways. What she's doing to not work out, so that she will come back to you and say, my lover.
Yes.
My priority. See,
it was a symbolic.
And God they block. So if you one is thinking that God they block ways, so I think the best way to come back to where we're talking about. See, we are called to be wise as serpents. wise as serpents. The truth is, the way people are portraying Christianity, portraying with the, I don't have issues with you holding a mic on the road and just, but you are too predictable. People can say, "Oh, that bloody Christian," or you're inside a bus, you're shouting, "Yeah, why are wearing wig?" Many of them are not even preaching the right gospel. They are preaching the gospel of condemnation. Because the gospel is meant to be good news. Not flattering news, but good news. So many people are not strategic in how they are reaching people for the gospel. They are so, you're in a secular setting in your office. You are meant to be doing your work, and you are there reading your Bible in the office. Is that what they hired you to do? No. You are all predictable, and people you're not a goody two shoes. But how you begin to just be wise as a serpent and be gentle as a dove. And that's the same thing with even music. See, an endless ocean that you're talking about. See, I can play an endless ocean. I can take a whole track, a whole album. I'm sure that you can play an endless ocean's album in maybe a club, and you might not even first know that it's a gospel musician, but you can't doubt that this music is not lustful, it's not enticing.
But it's getting to you.
It's getting to you. You are feeling the music.
Yes.
And because music it evokes certain emotions. That's why you can want to listen to a particular type of music in a club, or maybe at a restaurant. You want to listen to different types of music at different spaces. You know who you listen to when you want to vibe. You know who you listen to when you want to focus. You know what you listen to. So in the end, as believers, I believe you can do any type of music. Let the spirit that works in you, let it showcase in whatever expression
that you are
giving.
Yes, I mean, look at one of the most ageless and transgenerational love songs of all time, "Olumi" by Tosin Martins. Pastor Tosin Martins. Put it there. 20 years of relevance. Almost every single wedding they still play it. Everywhere. Christian weddings, Islamic weddings, unbelievable, round secular weddings, round Dubai. Dubai getaway weddings. It's there. Do you understand? And that is you showing effect in that space, still maintaining who you are as a person.
That's how you know a song that is actually birthed from a person of the spirit.
Yes.
See, think about it. Songs we sing in the church today.
Yes.
They were written 20 years ago. They were written years ago. So long. We've been singing them since we were young.
And we're still singing them.
And we're still singing the song that you said,
so cautious.
We've been singing those songs since when we were young.
Yes.
And that's the thing about the things of God. They transcend time. And that's the way it is. But if we see the song of the people already moved on. You know, so, and that's the thing. When God breathes upon something,
it stays.
It stays.
That was a long session, and I enjoyed it because it's very illuminating on what is necessary, what is allowed,
yes,
and how it should be done when it's allowed.
Yes,
right.